Hi guys, today let's have a look at how to do this shot, which is basically you can do it either as a still picture or an animation thing like you see here. The equipment you will need is just a camera, a tripod, and a flash which you can trigger it off camera. So basically as you're taking the photo, you'll be taking the flash around and flashing different parts of your scenery basically. And on top of that you might want maybe a pack of colored gels, which are pretty cheap. You can buy them I think anywhere really. You can just put it on top of your flash to create different flash colors. So in this case I found like some, not abandoned but like late at night, so there's no one around, just some overpass crossing which is pretty dark, so all you will see is the flash. Basically right now I'm in Premiere Pro. You can do this in Photoshop obviously if you want to do just still photo, or if you want more like advanced effects you can do it in After Effects as well, but the principle is all exactly the same and it's pretty easy really. I've decided to do it in Premiere Pro for this tutorial because I feel probably most people will be more comfortable in Premiere Pro rather than After Effects, and you can do it just as easily in Premiere Pro. So okay, so right now I've already imported all my still photos. So as you can see, I've basically set the camera up on a tripod, and shutter speed is 1/100, about f5.3, and ISO 100. So obviously when I take the picture, everything's going to be pretty dark except the area where I basically shoot the flash at basically. So obviously I shot it here for this shot. The next shot I shot it around here. The next shot I shot it around here. The next shot I shot it around here. So as you can see already, if we put these things together, you can either combine them to a single like still picture, or you can kind of play them in succession to create like an animation kind of thing. And just one last thing about the taking the photos is basically you should set also your focus to be manual. So in this case, I obviously want my model to be standing at some distance away from the camera. So I have him stand there first, set my manual focus, and just leave it there. Basically, you want everything to be manual and just locked down. Because especially for like a still lens, if you change focus, the kind of the perspective of the photo also change slightly. It's like lens breathing. So if you want to take multiple photos and blend them together, they wouldn't kind of blend on top of each other exactly if you change focus for each shot. So you might want to lock that down for manual. So right now in Premiere Pro, if I go to the main project page, I have the folder with all the red flashes in one folder, and also a folder with all the blue flashes and my model in another folder. So first let's combine the red flashes first. So on the main project I'm going to create a new sequence. So just go to File, New Sequence. And I just use the Arri preset, so 1080p, that's full HD, and maybe 25 frames per second. Maybe I'll name it, let's say, in red English, maybe? I don't really know why I'm naming that, but okay, let's just go with this for now. And one thing, in the sequence setting, when I'm creating the new sequence, obviously you can name it here, and I choose Arri 25 frames per second. And in the setting, right now I just have it normally at full HD, but if you want, you can change the resolution to match the size of your photo, because obviously your photo is not going to be like these exact dimensions. It could be larger, it could be maybe kind of taller and wider, or anything. So you can change it if you want, but in this case I'll just use a normal full HD, and the picture that I took kind of fits pretty well within that aspect ratio. So I just do cancel, and here I have the new sequence I just created, red English. And now I'm just going to bring in each photo in the red folder, all the photos I've taken, and stack them on top of each other. So this might take a bit of time. I just bring them in one by one. 2, 3. Now obviously right now I only have like 3 tracks or 3 layers of video, so obviously I need more. So an easy way to just add lots of tracks at the same time is to go to sequence and then add tracks. Obviously I don't need any audio tracks, so just add 0 audio tracks, but add maybe, let's say, might as well just add 30 video tracks just in case. Now you can scroll up and down the tracks by holding Control if you're using PC. If you're using Mac, just hold down Command and just use your mouse wheel to scroll up and down. So right now I've added three of my photos. I just add the rest. Might take a bit. I think there's about 26 photos if I'm not mistaken. So this is gonna take a while. As I said before, this shot is actually not difficult at all. It's just more kind of a bit tedious and fiddly to do, and you just waste a lot of time with all these like basically manual labor, just doing manual tasks over and over again basically. So I'm just going to stack these photos on top of each other. Yeah, nearly there. Just a few more. And the last one. And this one I actually experimented with like increasing the brightness, but I'm not actually going to use this one, so I'm just going to skip this one and use the last one. So now we have 26 layers of video. Okay, now that all the layers are stacked on top of each other, I'm going to select the topmost one and go to Effects Control and change the blend mode under opacity to lighten. Now I'm going to change the blend mode of every single layer to lighten, and a quick way of doing that is just click on the opacity and press Ctrl C or Command C to copy, and then press it the next layer, and then press Ctrl V to paste basically, or Command V if you're using a Mac. And I'm just going to paste the lighten blend mode onto every single layer. And basically with the lighten blend mode, it will just compare like the brighter part of each layer, and it will just use the brightest part of the two layers basically. So if we just keep on using lighten blend mode with every single layer, you'll see it'll just keep using the brightest part. Once it's compared all the layers, it will just use the brightest part. And then obviously since we flashed everywhere around the bridge, it will just use the brightest part of each shot, and we'll just end up with a kind of a whole like shiny and bright bridge basically. There you go. I've changed every single layer to lighten now, and as you can see, all the parts of the bridge now are like basically where we flashed. We can see all the flash combined together into one single still photo basically. Now there's one slight problem with this combination. Is basically when I was taking the photo, obviously I'm flashing the pink or red light onto the structure of the bridge, but at the same time the camera can still see each like the flash bulb of each shot. So as you can see, you see all these like bulbs in a line as I walk along the bridge and flashing different areas. So we might want to remove that. So obviously what we're going to do is go layer by layer and just use a mask to just delete or remove that area of the flash bulb. So I'm just going to turn off all the layers. I'm just going to shut it all off. Obviously if you're using Photoshop to do the still picture, you just use the exact same principle. You just stack all the layers on top of each other and change the blend mode to lighten, and it will work in exactly the same way basically. So I'm just going to shut all the layers off, and now let's start with the first one. So obviously you can see if I zoom into 100%, there's like a flash bulb here where I'm flashing in to kind of light up the bridge. So we might not want that flash bulb there, so I'm just going to click on this layer and then use under opacity, use the pen tool to just draw a quick mask around the flash bulb to remove it. And obviously right now it's selecting it, so we have to press invert to remove it basically, and now the flash bulb is gone. And again, I'll just turn on the next layer. Again, you see the flash bulb, so I'm gonna use the pen tool again just to remove it. Just quickly draw around, and then again invert it. So now you can see that the flash bulb is gone. So now come to the third layer, and again I'll just keep doing this for all the layers, and well, once I finish then maybe you can come back and carry on. Okay, so now I've combined all the red flashes into one. Obviously if you're doing Photoshop, again you can just use the layer mask to remove the bulbs. Now I'm going to combine the blue flashes with my model. So if I look at the blue folder, you can see like all the flashes I flashed on the right of my model, on the left of my model to create a rim light, and on the bottom to see like the shadow of the leg, and also on the top just to create a rim light on the head and the shoulders. So now I'm going to combine these blue flashes. So again, I'm just going to go to the main project area, go to File, New Sequence, and this time I'm just going to name it Blue English, I guess. How creative. And again, just use the Arri 25 1080p presets. Press OK, and now we have a new sequence. Again, I'm just going to drag in the blue shots to combine them. There you go. And now we're just going to go to each layer and change the blend mode to lighten again. So I'm just going to copy this, apply it to the other layers. Now, as you can see, there's a slight problem where if you look, Here's the flash to the shoulder and the head area, and here's the flash to the bottom area so we can see like a nice shadow coming out of the leg. But then when we do the flash on the side, as you can see, this flash is creating a nice rim light on the model, but however it's removing the nice shadow on the leg. So what we have to do is just use the mask tool just to select it, so that this flash here, we're only wanting just the area around the side of the model, and maybe just around the leg here, and maybe just a bit on the shoulder. So again, I'm just going to click on the layer, this layer right here, and I'm just going to use the pen tool to draw like a quick mask around the area where I want the layer to have an effect. And I'm just going to, so anything outside the mask, we're just going to remove it basically. So I'm just going to draw a quick mask just for demonstration purposes, so you don't have to wait for too long. Yeah, maybe just take this area with the leg. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit so I can draw more kind of easier. Take this part here, and maybe just around this shoulder and neck area where the flash is having an effect. There. And now you can see that the flash is only having an effect on the side of the model. So if we turn the layers on and off, as you can see, and obviously if you're doing it properly, you might want your mask to be a bit more kind of accurate. You don't want it to be like haloing like this. So now I'm just going to draw, maybe refine the mask a bit, and also maybe draw the mask for the other side. So obviously this layer, I have to draw the mask so it only affects the right side of the model as well. And then we'll again come back when I finish doing that. Okay, now I've finished drawing the mask. So we have a combination of something like this. So we have the main photo of the rim light on the head and the shoulders, and then the one on the leg, and then the one on the left, and the one on the right. Okay, so now we have the pictures of the combined red flashes and the sequence of the combined blue flashes. So now we're going to combine those two sequences in a new sequence. So again, I'm just going to go to the main project, go to File, New Sequence, and the same preset. Again, this time maybe main English, and press OK. Now in this sequence, I'm just going to bring in the red sequence we created earlier. So I'm just going to drag it in. It might be a bit hard to see, so let's zoom in a bit so we can see. So this is the red layer that we combined earlier, and then I'm just going to drag in the blue layer again that we've done earlier. So if we turn off the red layer, we can see the blue layer underneath. So again, I'm just going to go to the red layer and go to the blend mode and change it to lighten. With the lighten mode, again, it's just basically superimposing the brighter part of the red area onto the bottom layer, which is the blue layer. And obviously where our model is standing is quite dark, so basically it's just superimposing the brighter part of the red light onto our model, which is obviously not what we want. So we want the red light to be superimposed onto like all the other areas except our model who's standing there, so he should be like still in the shadow. So what we have to do is just draw a mask around the red layer, so that we're just going to like remove the red area that's affecting our model right here. So again, it's just going to go to the opacity and then use the pen tool, and let's say just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to draw like a quick mask around our model like this. And again, obviously right now it's selecting the red area just around the model. We don't want that, we want to invert it. So click on the inverted, and now it's selecting all the other red area to affect the bottom part, and basically like cutting out a hole where our model is. Again, I'm just going to have to draw like a more refined mask around a model, so that, you know, around the leg and the head and the shoulder to be more, well, so it looks better basically. So again, I'm going to do that, and we'll be back in a bit. Okay, that took a while, but as you can see, I've drawn a mask around our model. So right now we have a quick look. We can see that the red area is affecting every single part of the other area, except where we've drawn a mask to cut out like the red part basically. So right now, if you've gotten this far, you're pretty much done with the still image. So if you're doing it in Photoshop, you just do it exactly the same way. So you have, maybe you can have one folder which contain all the layers of your red photo or red flashes, and then just change them to lighten blend mode, and have another folder in Photoshop containing all the blue layers, have it in lighten mode, and then put the red folder on top of the blue folder, and again change the blending mode to lighten, and just have a layer mask and just cut out the area where you don't want the red flashes to affect the blue layers basically. And that's pretty much it. Now if you want to animate it, it's very easy. So all you have to do is go into the red sequence that we created. So just double click. This is the red English sequence. So as you can see right now, all the layers are basically playing at the same time on top of each other. But if we don't want that, we can just change the play order, right? So we don't have to have them turn on all at the same time. So we can maybe have like one turn on here, another one turn on here, another one turn on here. So as you play along, you can see basically the different flashes are turning on at different times. So for the animation, usually I'll have it play at 3 frames each. So right now I'm just going to change the duration of every single layer to 3 frames. So I just use the arrow key, 1, 2, 3. It's already at 3 frames. So right now all I have to do is basically just play them in sequence, I guess, or basically any order you want. So there's no right or wrong about this. You can have each flashes play at like however long you want. So maybe this flash will be 10 frames, this flash will be 2 frames. You can have 2 or 3 flashes at the same time. They don't have to play one by one, so it's really just up to your imagination. So right now I'll just do like some basic like it's just a basic sequence where they just play one by one after another. Again, this is can be quite tedious as I mentioned before, but not very difficult. Just take a lot of time and a bit fiddly. So it's a layer 16, layer 17, 18, 19, just a few more to go, 20, here, I'll just zoom out a bit, 21, oh sorry, misclicked, 21, 22, basically right now I have like a big microphone in front of my face, so I can't really see the monitor too well. It's like blocking half of the area, which is why I'm misclicking quite often. Okay, so now we have them playing one after another. So if I just have a quick play, basically you just have like a simple animation of lights flashing one after the other. So now if we go back to our main sequence, the main English, where we have the red layer and the blue layer, and have a quick play. Obviously I have to extend the red layer now because it's playing like longer than before. Before it's just like a quick 3 frames. Now it's playing for like, I'm not sure how long it is. About that long, I guess. And the blue layer, so I drag the blue layer out so it's like the same length as the red layer, and have a quick play. There you go, now you have the red lights flashing. And obviously you don't have to limit yourself with just one sequence of flashing red light. You can just make another copy, press alternate on your keyboard and just left click drag, and you can, you know, maybe like stagger them a bit. So as the first sequence is playing, before it's even finished, the second sequence starts playing, and maybe have a third one as well, like that. So first flash, the second flash start playing, then the third flash start playing. And again, you can just use like as many combinations you want. You can have like one can be one flash pattern, you can create another sequence with another flash pattern, and so on and so forth, and then combine them and use them 2 at a time, 3 at a time. Just basically your imagination is the limitation, basically, I guess. Okay, that's pretty much it. I hope it's given you some fun ideas to try maybe on your next photo adventures. I guess that's all from me for today. Have fun. Bye.